Maja John Ned in Acapulco, Mexico, continuing to talk about dogs, a species that I adore and I think are a gift from God. I made a mistake in the video about the natural state of dogs where I said the dog that lived with me in the country was Pancho. No, Pancho was entirely in the city with me until we took off and went to the mountains. 2 years in the city and then 2 years in the country before she very tragically died. Uh, the dog that was in the country with me was Buddy, a 40-pound poodle mix, spectacular dog. And I tell the story elsewhere, and I will find the link to the video where I recently talked about Buddy's way back from being absurdly neglected and at one point obviously abused by men to get his confidence back and his happiness in life, and to develop an absolute preference for men. If he had a choice, he'd move towards men because of how much he loved and trusted me. That's Buddy. Pancho, the way I adopted Pancho, I was that day. They say one of the best relationships is between a man and a dog he wasn't going to adopt. I was at the dog store and they were announcing an adoption day, and I said, well, I'm getting close to ready for a dog. Let's just go see what I might be interested in. And the first cage had a beautiful dog, but didn't move me. Second one, a really very cute dog, did not move me. Third cage, Pancho was a chubby Chihuahua at the back of the cage, sitting there staring at me. Did nothing to ingratiate with me, just sat there and stared at me. And I thought, Chihuahuas, I've never liked Chihuahuas. They tend to be awful yappy. Chubby, I don't like heavy dogs. And actually not that attractive. Well, my last two dogs had been the apple face, the short face, the quintessentially cute face, and he had more of a dog face, a Chihuahua face. So no, okay. So dog, would you stop staring at me? I'm moving on, okay? I'm moving. Don't keep staring at me. You're creeping me out. Okay, you're my dog. And I said it out loud in the dog's voice. I said, my dog. And they allowed me to take her for a walk, but it was a done deal already. And we were bonded. She claimed me. That stare was claiming me. Get me. And someone said to me, well, she recognized that you were going to be a great person. I said, no. She recognized that I might get her out of that damn cage where she had been for a couple weeks. Pancho, the next day I took Pancho on a mountain trail and turned her off leash, and she was at my heel for 40 minutes an hour. Never went anywhere else. And I spent a lot of time walking those trails with her, and she loved it, and she would roam further and further. I was in the city, and they were rigorous about leash laws in Asheville. I mean, ridiculously rigorous. So she always walked on leash that she would drag behind her walking down the street because I wouldn't hold the leash. So she was allowed to go wherever she wanted to go. And when people would say to me, as they routinely did, that dog needs to be on a leash. That dog is on a leash. You need to be holding the leash. Can you describe to me what behaviors are telling you that she needs to be held? Is she in any way creating a problem? That's the law. Yeah, do you never speed? That's not an answer. And she would test it. One day she walked like 10 yards down the side street, looking over her shoulder, and I was just standing there waiting for her. And then another 10 yards, looking, and then said, okay, I've tested that enough, and she came back. And we were at one point we were living in a seniors building where we had to ride an elevator to get to my apartment. Lots of little yappy dogs in that building with doddering old parents who didn't manage them well, including a couple of very aggressive ones. She got so scared of other dogs she turned aggressive herself. She did. At the sight of a dog, she'd start to growl. I loved her out of it. Would always carry her in my arms on the elevator And at any sign on the street that she was starting to growl at another dog, I'd pick her up and just love on her. And it melted, it went away. And then when we got to the country, instead of having to walk down a hall, down an elevator, out through double doors, no. I left the sliding glass door open and she could come and go at will. And she was a homebody. She wasn't going to run away. And she became such a love, such a love. She loved all people and all dogs. And probably 200 times in 2 years on the road, at least let's say 100, between 60 and 100 times, one or more kids would say, like your dog, I like your dog. And a couple of instances, like in a Walmart, where 3 or 4 kids at a time, she'd have like between 3 and 6 hands on her and just in heaven, just in heaven. What a wonderful dog. Okay, that's Pancho. I'm going to do another one about Magic, my last dog.